things. Hang on just a second. This is a tight little parking area, so I want to make sure get out of here good before I start talking too much. So I'm leaving my primary care doctor's appointment, and oh my goodness, getting here, this again, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but this was a prime example of why I don't like working days. This daytime traffic is something not to be desired. I can't see. Where are you going? Freaking hey, these people are crazy. I just don't understand the driving. But anyway, I digress. This person just came out of there and came into traffic coming this way, facing me to get over to an opening so that they can get on that side of the road. Who does that? That was totally illegal. Anyway, traffic getting here was rough. I left my house at 6:45. My appointment was at 8. I didn't get here until almost 8:35 because my GPS, the route that I was starting to go, it said there was a delay. I don't know what the delay was, if it was just, slow moving traffic or if there was some kind of accident. Sorry, we're under a bridge. Or what? So it took me on a detour. See, these people are nuts. I mean, absolutely nuts. I say, if you can drive in Chicago, you can drive anywhere, because these people will definitely test you. Yeah, why are you all up on me? So it took me on a detour, and it had me going down all kinds of side streets and other major streets, which of course makes the drive longer. And then it was taking me to a different expressway. The first expressway that it was taking me to was north. The second one was south. So I had to drive quite a ways to get to the second expressway, which was south. About maybe a half a mile from the south expressway, traffic comes to a standstill. I haven't even made it to the expressway yet. Traffic comes to a standstill. It took literally 10 minutes just to cross a light. Well, one traffic light, it took like 10 minutes to get across that light because traffic was just creeping and at a standstill most of the time. And so I wound up calling my doctor's office and telling them that I was stuck in traffic. And as I was on the phone with the receptionist, I could hear the ambulance coming up behind in traffic. And so I was like, oh man, it's probably an accident. And she was like, oh man. And so she put that in the notes that I was stuck in traffic and that it was possibly an accident, that, ambulance was on the scene or on the way to the scene. So yeah, I get there at like 8:35. And she told me on the phone, she said, she's making all of these notes and she's going to relay the message. She's like, but there's no guarantee that you'll still be seen. And again, I always try to be as cordial, as professional, as Christian as can be when dealing with people, because it's not her fault. But I told her, I said, look, I've driven over an hour to get to where I am right now. I'm not going back home. Because she asked me, she said, did you want to reschedule your appointment, or you want to try to keep coming? And I was like, look, I'm not going home. That's not even an option. I drove all this way. I'm coming the rest of the way. And she was like, well, I'm not sure if, you'll still be able to be seen. We'll see that when I get there. But I know one thing. I'm not going back home. If I have to wait until he sees all of his patients, he's going to see me today. He is going to see me today. And so she just kind of laughed to herself. And so she took down all of the notes and she's like, okay, I'm going to pass this message on. I said, all right. So eventually I was able to get through that traffic. I was able to get to the doggone expressway finally, and then get through the traffic because there was still a delay. Apparently, and I'm going to say it had to be a semi, because you know how you have those metal barriers on the side of the road so that you don't run into them? Well, somebody apparently hit one and it was all folded up. It was all crinkled up. And that was the delay. The vehicle was no longer there, so I don't know what hit it. The way it was crumpled up, the way it was, I'm assuming it was probably a semi-truck. I can't see somebody in a passenger car or truck hit that and survive. I mean, it did some major damage to that railing. And it wasn't just a small section. It was a big, long section of it. Yeah, I'm passing it now. Yeah, that had to be a semi-truck. And so that was the delay. I mean, no bodies in the road, no blood, no carnage, but people can't seem to drive past some crinkled up metal in a normal fashion. We've all got to stop and gaze and gawk, and I don't understand. So you're holding up traffic for this. Yeah, even that traffic still backed up on that side, because they're all gawking at the crinkled up railing. I digress. Let's bring it down a few 100,000 notches. Anyway, so I get there. I had to wait, of course, because I was late. So he had other patients he was seeing. And so then maybe half hour, 45 minutes later, they called me. And I went in and talked with him. And the appointment was good. The only thing is, he's not releasing me back to work. He said he's not the one to make that decision. it would have to be probably the therapist. And so I'm like, wow, okay. Which means more than likely I'm not going back to work next week, which I was totally expecting. Alright, so we are merging people. You know how to do that, right? Right? Just, it's like a zipper. One goes, then the other. Yeah. Good job, people. Good job. Yay. You're just gonna run me over, huh? Trying to get over. People are in such a hurry. So yeah, so now, and I did call back to Dr. Nadu's office to ask her that question. And her nurse called me back the next day. And unfortunately, I was outside working on some projects and didn't hear my phone when she called. So by the time I called her back, she was seeing some other patients. And so the nurse that answered the phone said that she would call me back. Well, she still hasn't called me back. So I'm going to give Dr. Nadu's office a call back when I get home. And I'm going to call the therapist. Even though I'm supposed to be there on Friday for therapy, I'm going to give them a call and ask that question of that office, because I'm going to have to call back to the short-term disability people and tell them that my doctor is not releasing me back to work. So that decision is going to have to come from either Dr. Nadu or the therapist, and I'm kind of thinking more the therapist. So I need to have an idea of when they might be considering me going back to work. And then I'm going to have to request medical records from Dr. Nadu again and the therapist, so that they will have that stuff in their file and we won't have to go through this nonsense again that we went through the last time. So that's what I'm going to do when I get home. And I'm so tired of seeing doctors at this point. These 4 months that I've been off could have been spent doing so many other things other than trying to get well and going to doctors constantly, getting poked and prodded and x-rayed and scanned and assessed. And yeah, I could have been camping, fishing, hiking, boating, doing so many other things, jumping out of airplanes, yeah. But it's coming. It's coming. Anyway, he said that my A1C was good. I was happy about that. He said it has gone down. It's not quite where he wants it to be. And I told him that I think the problem is when he increased my dose, I was taking one pill in the morning and one in the evening, and he increased my dose to 2 pills in the morning and 2 in the evening. So by doing that, I'm running out of them before the month is up. So my numbers are going up and down because if I'm not consistently on the medication, it starts to go back up. And so he put in a new prescription for me, and he increased the amount of pills that they're going to give me. So he was like, you should never run out again. And he was like, he wrote me a prescription for a year's supply or refills for a whole year. So yeah, so that's good. So I'm supposed to see him in another 3 months. And in that 3 months, hopefully my numbers have come down even more. He was like, my blood pressure was good. He was like, my A1C was much better, but not exactly where he wants it to be. So we're still working on it, but it's better. It's better than it was. So I was happy about that. And so I need to make an appointment with an eye doctor. He wants me to see an eye doctor, and then he wants me to do some at-home test and send it in. And then, yeah, I'll see him again in another 3 months. So, yeah, overall, it was a good appointment. It was just, like I said, a bear getting there. Pain in the butt. But you have to wake up so extra early to try to make it to these appointments. Well, at least this one, because he's the furthest appointment that I've had, that I have. But yeah. So yeah, guys, like I said, it looks like I'm not going back to work like I thought I was, at the time that I thought I was. But we shall see what Dr. Nader and the therapist has to say. Yeah, that's all we can do. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to get me some fishing in somewhere. I have been wanting to fish all summer and have not done it yet. And I want to go back over to the Forest Preserve where they have those gigantic fish, those huge fish. I want to go hit that spot. And now that the weather is just a little bit cooler, we've been having weather in the 70s this week. I want to get over there while it's still nice. So maybe I'll try to do that this weekend. Or, yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see. I'll get back to you guys on that one. Yes, indeed. Anyway, guys, I'm going to keep my focus on the road so I can make it home safely. So there's no more accidents and no more delays on these roads. But I will see you guys again soon in the next video. You guys be safe, stay well, be blessed, and I'll see you again shortly. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.